So hello, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you had a great 3-day weekend if you're from the States. If not, I hope you had a great weekend. So we are here today to chat about this contacts application that we've been working on. It's about 2 months old now, I think. And it started out with a next to nothing application, just pretty much an idea, and we've been building it up ever since. We started out with walking through a different IDEs. We walked through Visual Studio Code, JetBrains Rider. We then actually started building out the app, and we started with building out the models first. So this is our first name, last name, properties. You'll notice if you're following along on this page, which I posted in the chat, you can click on the video link to see a copy of that stream so you can follow along at any particular point in time. And if you click on the source code link, you'll see a copy of all the source as it was at the end of that particular stream. Then we worked on building out the business layer, aka management layer, aka service layer. The name varies depending on your organization. Then spent a couple of days building out the data layer. We use SQL Server or SQLite. Since I'm using a Mac for most of this, we'll probably convert it to SQL Server this week before we go live and push it out to the cloud. There's also other links. They're listed here. So this is everything we use to kind of get the database working. We then went and introduced unit testing to the application, worked on the data layer. We then spent a couple of weeks exposing our application via web API. We then added validation to the API to make sure things like first name, last name, fields like that were complete. Then went and documented the API, worked on authentication. So now you have to log in order to use the API. In the last 2 weeks, we spent building out a AspNetCore core client to the application. Now the client is fully functional and working. It's not the prettiest. We're going to kind of clean up a little bit of that today. So if you continue along after where we were with the adding page, you can follow along to what we're going to work on in the future. We'll probably skip the others and start working on database consolidation and then start scripts to deploy this to the cloud, and then we'll continually enhance it. So let's go take a look at the code. I think there was a change since Thursday. I noticed there was a couple of problems with going back and forth with the security and permission. So I took a deeper look at that over the weekend and I made some changes to it. There weren't anything major. So let's see what those changes were. Where is my, I can just click on the link here. So I got rid of this authorized bit that was causing the double authorization since we are authorizing in this service. So we don't have any more of those in there. I also changed the add to return a task or remove that since we're not doing asynchronous for this. It's just returning a new model, blank model. And then the home controller, there was a couple of more things here. What did I do here? Oh, I added this in and I put some extra comments. This is just a workaround for dev. We're deleting the cookies when you start because of the way the Microsoft Identity Framework, or what's it called, Microsoft Authentication Library.net works. It uses token caching, and those tokens are cached either in memory or some form of SQL server. Right now, I don't have SQL Server installed on here. Hello, DJ. I'll never get your full name, so I'm just going to keep calling you DJ for now. Welcome. So until we implement a SQL Server for a caching, we pretty much have to delete our cookies and re-enable them every time. So this is just a temporary workaround in dev. But now when we run the app, it's a lot cleaner. So let's start with the API and run. Then start off with the user interface and run. Let's go back here. So pops up the API loaded on a different screen, and we got the exception because of permissions. Now let's go here, localhost 5003, and you see we're automatically signed in now. If you were quick enough, you would have seen that this URL changed a little bit. That was going out to the Microsoft Authentication Library and logging in. Now when we hit contacts, does that there, automatically logs in and then continues, because it does that authorization to do it. And we still get that same authorization. If I go look at it, it now has all those cached in memory. It got all the permissions and has it cached, so it doesn't have to keep going back and forth. So let's just make sure everything else still works. Let's change. It doesn't like to be called Alice. We'll just put an A for her name, and we probably shouldn't use my URL for it. So let's go and give her a different image, stock photo, female. There is a site that kind of does a lot of that. I just don't remember how it works. So let's see if I just copy the image link, paste that in here for her. Oh, that was the big link. I don't want that. I want paste this. It's good amongst .NET software. Yes, yes it is. Yep. So I saved it. We got back to this page, and her head is gigantic. Have to fix that image. Let's clean that up a little bit. So got it working. Let's go and stop this here. Stop the UI part. And then let's look at the image. So if I remember correctly, we put use the component for thumbnail. Oh, the thumbnail doesn't exist anymore. That's right. There's a content for images that we used for this. So we are going to probably want to do something like images. So we don't have this here. And that's a 200 by 200. I don't know if it restricts the size. So let's take a look at trying that out. So let's copy this and see what we have here. We don't want that. So where are we? Web UI, views, contact, details. Now let's paste this in here. Yep, same text. So that doesn't work because that's gigantic. So I could hard code a side to it, but I thought there was a better way. Image fluid. They used to have a way to just cut the sizes down. Image fluids are made responsive, which image fluid apply to scales to the current element. Let's see if that works. So, oh, I don't have the thumbnail in there. There it goes. I want the image thumbnail. Let's do image dash thumbnail. Save that. Run this. And I'll show a quick way that we can kind of tweak that without, if we're just messing around with classes, how we can play around with that in the developer tools and get it to work a little bit easier than us having to stop, restart. Let's refresh this page. Still not built yet. Did hit play, right? No, I didn't hit play. Let's hit restart. Go. I already have a page loaded with her. See if that cleaned it up. Oh, kill the image altogether. Let's just make sure I have an image for her in here. Her details. Oh, image is gone. Let's take a look to make sure that I am setting the image right and I didn't mess up something else. So, depending on whether you're using Chrome or Edge or Firefox, they all have different shortcuts. They're commonly referred to as developer tools. The Windows version, this is F12. I think it's the same for both Chrome and Edge on a Mac. I don't remember what the Chrome shortcut is, but I usually come to more tools and developer tools. And this gives you a really easy way to kind of look at your code. So we can click on this little button here for select element. And that gives us a little way that we can go and select around. So if I hover over something, here you'll see that it says this is an H1 and the blue color is the class. Let's see if I can. So that's telling me that I am using a H1 tag and I am assigning the CSS class of display-1 to it, which we did. And then how much space it's taking up, what color it is, and then a little bit more. So here we see that there is a problem with that. And if you look closely, it's telling us that there's no image. I'm going to click on that and see. The image itself is right. It's probably just blocking the request. So let's take a different view. Come on, Bing. Let's see if this image works. Copy image link here. Okay, it shows. So let's go and put it in here to make sure it works. So let's use quotes, paste it, and there we go. So it updated it and it was more responsive. So it kind of fit the width. If I go and make this bigger, she'll take up the space or take up as much space as we need. So that's there. Let's see what else we can do with the images. Yeah, we don't want to align it. I think that's good for now. Let's take a look at some of the other things we can do. Let's go and update that text in case we come back to it. So I'm going to go change the URL and do edit. Let's put in the new text for it. And that should be good. Now, let's see what else we want to do. I think, sorry, keep seeing her. So one of the things we talked about doing was adding icons to the edit and delete buttons and the ads. So let's take a look at the Bootstrap icons. They have quite a few of them. They don't have anything that's explicitly called delete. Although if you do delete, you'll see the trash here. So let's go and take a look at that one. Here's some text to put in for that. And that's a lot of actual code. So much easier in the with Font Awesome. I tried that. Oh, that's why, because there's a tag. So let's go and stop that. We're going to want to add this trash can to it. And if we go to our index, I think we can just add it here. So I think I can just do that. And now we'll have a trash can there. Unfortunately, that's not all we need to do. We need to give it the source of where it's going to get this SVG file. So let's go and check the installation part. So if we go to icons and install, so we have to do an npm install to get it the easiest way, but that doesn't really help us get to it quickly. So let's see what we're going to do. I am going to install this globally. So let's open up my terminal prompt. 3, 1, and pasted the wrong thing in there. Thank you. npm install -g. Highlighted commands can be interpreted and executed by the IDE in a smart way. Control enter to try this, or enter to run the command. Huh. I'm gonna have to try that. I don't know what that feature is. Bootstrap icons. Got it. Bootstrap icons. That was quick. So packages were added. If I look, they're not referenced in anywhere here in the code. Like normally we'd see something like Bootstrap here in the library and everything that goes along with it, but this is just the CSS. And that's, I installed that globally, so it's available on my machine everywhere, just not in this project. So now I need to add it. And let's see if there's anything in here on that. Nope. Okie dokie. Let's do npm packages ASP.NET Core MVC. Using MVC, using npm with an MVC, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, let's see this one. Looks like I clicked on that one already. I was fooling around with this on Thursday night, and I didn't get too far because I kind of got tired. This is on Visual Studio. Yes, yes, yes. I think I can add a package file within Rider. Let's go here and do add new package.json. You have a choice of using Yarn or NPM with Writer. You can do the same with Visual Studio. I'm just using NPM because that came out of the box. So I want to do Bootstrap dash icons and then pick a release. So now this is telling us we're adding a dependency to Bootstrap icons, and then we have the ability to say what release. So this is the current one. This says at least 1.0.0-alpha 5, and then this one says that version or higher. So let's just do the latest and greatest. Now I get a yellow squiggly line because it's not found in the project. So let's do run npm install. And it should have added the package. You'll notice now I have a package.json and a package lock. The package lock is just the way the npm works with it. So where did it put this file? These files. I don't know where I put them. It's in here somewhere. I'm going to go and check it out in Finder and see where it is. So, there's the node modules directory. And those are the files. So we can either include all the icons with it, or we can just include this SVG. So I think we can go back here and choose add existing item. And then I can select all the way in here, and that adds it to the list. That makes it available within Writer. But I don't know if I actually want to do that. I think we can copy it over, but it's a pain in the butt. So restored packages. I put the packages. So when I restored them there, created a node file, showed the dependencies, copy the packages, this right here. Copy packages from node to the lib. That seems silly. Sounds like a step that we can easily miss. So let's go and do that. I want to, I don't know if I can undo that. Let's see if I Control Z. Nope, can't undo that. So let's go and copy this and then paste it in here. So let's put a new folder. We're going to do add. And why did it appear up here? Add new folder directory, and let's call it image, and then paste it here. Yes, going to add that. I want to undo this, so let's exclude that from it. Now we have the image file here. Now we have to reference that. So let's go to our layout to change it. So I think we have the shared layout here. Yep, we're going to want to add that image here. So what's the code for that? I don't know. This is all in the Bootstrap files. Manage, set up AspNetCore, install client-side libraries, bundle minify, ASP.NET Core, include SVG. I've never used SVG before, so I don't know what we're supposed to be doing. Embedding SVG in here, working with SVGs. Import SVG. It seems overly complicated for it. See if there's another quick way to do it. Read host, yeah, I already got static files. Yeah, I already got that. Has to be a way to tell where to get that SVG from, though. So I think I actually need to reference it somewhere. So we need to be able to pull that down. Just because I added a reference to it here, or not here, here, it doesn't know where to get that from. Actually, it might just be able to do that without me even referencing it. Let me see. Let's start it. I might not actually even need to download the whole thing. I think I only want to download it if you want to include the individual files in it. Let's see. I refresh this page. Connection refused. Yeah, I know. Why are you broken all of a sudden? You opened up on another screen. Connection refused. What did I do? Oh, duh. I stopped the API. Must hit stop all before. There we go, and there's the delete. So I actually didn't even need to copy it. I can just reference that. So let's go and add the edit button. So let's choose the pencil for it. Oh, let's do pencil square. I like the pencil. So you literally just copy that. The other way to do it is to take those files, those inside that node folder. Where did I put that? I closed it. We can copy those files. So here, let's go edit there. Space U, let's put a space there just for consistency. So that's good. Then we want to do the add. What do we want to do for add? Let's see, what do we got here? Add. Let's see what the search has for add. We don't want a Cloud Plus. We don't want a file earmark. Well, let's do person add. That looks right. And I think we do fill or unfill? I already forgot. Unfilled. So let's get this person. And we can copy that text. Paste you here. Hit save. I don't think I can hit refresh this. Gotta recompile it. So now if we stop the web app and then restart the web app, how do you keep coming up on a different screen? I don't want you coming up there. There we go. Now we have a nice edit button, a nice delete button, and a nice add button. We'll want to do the same copy paste for the details for the edit and delete. So let's go and do that. I think I can just literally copy that. I might have to change the model for the edit. Where'd you go? No, it's model contact ID. So let's go and do that. Should be model. That's there, and then the last would be the add. I think we have a save button at the bottom. We submit. So let's go and change this. Okay, we're gonna have to change this to a hyperlink now in order to get that. So let's go and keep that there for now. And let's create a new one for it. I think we can do button input type button, and then there is a there's a way to make it submit. No, I forgot. HTML button submit. Input type equals submit. To input type submit, create submit button. HTML, how do you submit HTML forms, attribute type. Let's see if it's in here. Button type equals submit. Here it is. That was right. Button type, not input button. Oh, wait. Button type. I remember a button being on here as an option. Button type equals submit. And then class equals button, and then button primary, and then put a new line here. Save, and let's get a save item or save button. Where are you? Back to icons. Hit save. Don't want life preserver. Insert. No, let's take a quick look what we got here. One of the challenges is that since it's still 1.0, I don't have anywhere near the number of icons that other libraries have. Could play around with Font Awesome, but just want to show some of the basics out of the box. And Font Awesome requires you to do a bunch of registration and other things. There's no good icon for that. Which one should we use? You see one, holler out. Envelope, exclamation point, file break, file code, file diff. Lots of different file ones. File medical, file person, file text. Cheat and use one of those file ones. Yeah. Or gear, give, flow. Man, I can't believe there isn't the old-fashioned save icon. Info, input cursor, journal, key, layers. Man, would have thought I'm going to spend 20 minutes to find an icon to use. If not, we're just going to get a save. Oh, this is add, so I guess we can do plus. Let's do plus circle. Back to that just to make sure that that makes sense, but plus is the best one so far. And it looks like the pluses have it. Let me go and choose the plus. Plus, 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 plus circle. Copy. Back here. Paste. Get you formatted a little bit. Save. And just do restart. Now we should have icons for everything. Back here. Yay, finally loaded on the right screen. Now if we go to contacts, you should see edit, delete, add working. We might want to put an icon here just to clean it up. Let's go to edit. And oh, I forgot to do that one. Did I forget to do that one? Let's do the details. Edit, delete. Oh, look, my face is actually better here. I thought I added that. Let's go and check. Button submit, primary. It say save on there, the add. Oh, because that was add, I didn't do edit. Go to edit. Change you. Better formatting. Now restart it. Now with this restarted, let's refresh this page. There we go. Now the save is working, and go back to edit. It's there. We go back to add. It's there. So cool. Clean up that. I want to clean up this now because this was bothering me. I really don't need to know the time for an anniversary and time for a birthday. So let's kind of clean that up a bit too. So I think we can do that by putting what's called a data annotation on the model. So, but we have to do that on the other class. wonder if we can just do that here. So let's do ASP MVC helpers. Let's close all tabs to the right. We don't images ASP-4 MVC, and see if I could change the tag helper a little bit to add some more context to it. So you got all that. This text area. Oh, yeah, data validation to it. Maybe we'll do that too. I want the label tag helper validation, and so got tag helper and see if that has anything to do with it. Built-in tag helpers, input. Let's see, date, time. Input tag helper sets HTML type. Following table lists some common HTML types. New email address. Data type. Password. That's what type equals date. You can also do that in the data annotations, but I don't want to mess with that. So where is that? So here I think you can just do type, spell, date. And let's do the same thing for birthday. I want to get that specific. Type equal date. Start and restart. The good thing about the stop and restarts is it gives me a chance to hydrate and drink something. After talking for so long, you get parched after a while. Even though I drank like a gallon of water just prior to. So what we're looking at, the add and edit. So let's go back and edit Jane Doe. Now we see that there's no longer a time there. And if I click on this, I get a piece and I can actually scroll through it. So that is good. And what else do we need to change? This listed as an email address. Yeah, that's not, I think we can call this an email address and get some extra. We already did that. So it would probably validate when it's done. If we hit save, it's going to do some validation. Any other cleanup? I think that is it, because this we already said. Let's see if there's some other UI tips that we can get from Bootstrap. So we don't want tables. Let's see, components. Or button group, drop downs, forms. Let's take a look at the forms. Kind of like this look and feel, which we kind of have. We don't have the text anywhere, but that's just adding this. Just to show that it looks different. Let's go to the email address and just add that. And don't want that, don't need that. We're not going to do file uploads. Maybe we'll do another point. We don't have any read-only fields right now, so I don't need to show that. I don't think we have anything with ranges. We don't have checkboxes. That's it. Unless we want to do this with the name and not stack them across. I think we're good. Let's see if anything we want to do with our person view. So that's the edit. We'll leave the edit the way it is. Let's go back and look at the actual details for a person. I don't know if we want to do that. We kind of cleaned up that enough. Got this so it automatically sends an email. Anything here? I don't think there's anything here. It looks like we're pretty good with the page. I mean, we can go and clean up this, but I think from a user standpoint, it's the basic building blocks for the app. I don't think there is much more that we could add to it. I mean, there's lots with data validation and stuff like that, but I'm not going to cover a lot of that right now. I think we'll call it a day for now, and if tomorrow for the thing, I think we'll add SQL database to the code, and we'll copy our data over from SQLite to the SQL Server, and then we will figure out how you can kind of swap it back and forth with the different managers that we have. So join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you had a great day. Oh, wrong button. Hope you had a great day. The YouTube video will be posted shortly. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on any of the social media that's listed there. Have a great day.